you have to remember. The son just on table in December. And she do construction too. She will build your house for you and you get it well rendered. Davis, she are the real big woman. Which she could have never go wrong with she. You can put house and a van through she. You can put a car and then Miss D are the real big woman. Which she could have never go wrong with she. You can put house and a van through she. You can put a car and she now start it and left you there. Me I tell your brother yes she well prepared. And if you're meeting enough farmer bangarang, she give you lawyer, brother, pay your fear. She are the best RST agent. She help the need if you stop pay rent. They don't care about mind them, just give me strength by steel and gaffle and black and cement house. Now me house that I build up on the ivy and save some money gone up in the sky from. Baby Claudia, me say me not lie and have money and me pocket never giant. Me swear for me life, say me son them have to fly so. Hypocrite pagan want we die, but no can't stop Claudia Davis don't try. Every day another house gone I Miss Davis, she are the real big woman. Which she could have never go wrong with she. You can put house and a van through she. You can put a car and Miss D are the real big woman. Which she could have never go wrong with she. You can put house and a van through she. You can put a car and yeah man, you know. It's Claudia Davis. Pick up yourself. That's a like, subscribe, and share. Claudia Davis. Can get your house anywhere. Just be prepared without no fear.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, everyone.
We have what, 7 persons on? Morning, Lexi. Happy Sunday. Well,
Lexi G, good morning. Morning. How was your day? Sharika is in the house. Morning, Sharika.
morning, Sharika. Morning, Monica.
Morning, Monica. Seeing Dion as well. Morning, Dion. Morning, everybody. Morning.
Mom, how was your week?
Rough.
I feel like I haven't seen you this week. Did I see you this week?
No. Yeah. Doing it's a renovation, Tony. So we're doing it's not a new build. So it's a renovation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working with plumbers, tilers. Painter don't come in yet, but so far the carpenter, plumber, tiler,
Electrician.
Out of all of those, the least stress was the electrician. What to do, leave him gone. He did what was supposed to happen. Most stress was a tiler. My God.
Our electrician is very good. He's very organized and he knows his craft. So you can literally just turn a blind eye basically and your job will be done.
Yeah. Out of all the tradesmen in Jamaica, the electricians are the best actually.
Even when I have something to repair and I give him the tenant's number and say just make the arrangement, he just makes the arrangement and then 2 days later tenant will say it's done. And I didn't even remember about it. So that's what I like about working with him.
Yeah, but the others, man.
The others is like corralling cows or something. It's just like so much effort you have to put into organizing them to do their own work.
Yeah, to do their own work, to collect their own money. But I mean,
I shouldn't pay so much money to cause me stress.
You know, I can't pay people to stress me, man. I fired the tiler on was it Monday? Today's what? Sunday.
Maybe Tuesday.
Tuesday. The man, first of all, him tipsy. Or pick him up, I know him tipsy now. I say, what's going on here? I know we go party, whatever. I said, party? Are you still tipsy? Yeah, drink from morning, man. When you wake up this morning, start drink. Anyway, I drop him off at the location, him I do him thing. My loan is there now. I'm coming in the evening. I see a hole in the door. I say, what happened here? We never leave the door broken, did we? No answer. So I go on and on about the door. So I call my carpenter, I send him a picture. I said, look here, the door smashed, we're going to fix the door. So I said, I know how you do it, you know. I know how you do it. Anyway, I got overlook that. I said, sure. I know how him do it, but I not say it out loud. I say it in my head. He was the only one there. And this is on the inside, the door gets smashed.
And it's a new door.
And it's a brand new door. So I say, sure. Anyway, it really tick me off now. The following morning, don't pick him up again. Because them people, you have to pick them up. You know, you're going to pick them up, them not reach a location, you know. I have to pick him up. Pick him up. Reach a location. Hear him. Miss D, why I'm not feel for work today. I said, what you say? Say, you really want me get up, come pick you up, reach the location, right? And now you're going to say, you don't feel for work today. Anyway, no, man, boy, I don't know, I just don't feel him never. That's so tips in the morning there, but I just not have the vibes. So I'm saying that the vibes. I said, oh, my Jesus. I say, all right, I drop you back. So I drop him back at my house. And they must say, me come tomorrow, man. Me come tomorrow. I say, no bother, man. I get a next time. I can't bother with you. I definitely did try to get a next Tyler. I called about 3 people. I said, give me a Tyler. 2 of them they gave me, those Tylers are busy. Another one said, well, I'm seeing me not find my drunky Tyler yet neither. But most of the 3rd day, me still a fumble. Today's a Sunday, so he came back on Friday. The Tuesday, I'm fine. Wednesday and Thursday, I'm trying to look at Tyler. Friday, him call me. Miss D, may I come finish the place? May I come finish the place? I say, all right, take the bus. Come in and pick you up again. My God, the worst thing I could have said, take the bus. The worst thing I could have said, take the bus. Because he said, yeah, may I reach 8 o'clock. May I reach 8 o'clock. So me did it for home the door. At 10 o'clock, the man reach every minute. I call. Then one time I say, may I take a bus, man? Come, me not take a route taxi. May I take a, me say, what? Me say, what bus I wait for? Oh, me wait for one special bus to come straight up. Me say, you crazy? Just jump on a route taxi and come. Jump on a route taxi and go. No, sir. But he finished yesterday, last night, actually, about 7:30. Remember, pick him up, pay him, drop him my mouse back. He finished. Now, he's a really good Tyler when he's... I don't think he would be a good Tyler sober, to be honest. I really don't. I don't think he'd be a good Tyler sober. The place, well, so now I have to pick up my guy, Rambo, no, this morning. We're going to clean up the tiles. Now, cleaning up the tiles is the Tyler's job, right? But this is 7:30 tonight. They give him a pass. I said, since we're going to clean up the place, the space, anyway, I'll just let Rambo clean up the tiles, which I know Rambo is very good at cleaning up tiles, right? Better than the Tyler. So I said, okay, let me just make him come in the morning and do it. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning, cleaning up tiles and whatever. But I tell you, I don't think he could work without being slightly.
I think the day when he didn't have the vibes was because maybe he didn't get anything to drink.
Yeah, because he always actually buys a Magnum in the mornings. And the other morning I looked at the Magnum alcohol content. It was in the teens. And I'm saying, even last night when I paid him, to Miss D, stop man, me have to get a little boost for go home. Of course, I know I'm talking about the Magnum. I was near the supermarkets. I went stopped in the supermarket. He went in, he bought 3 Magnums. Hear him now. You know, say, this from the street at $500. I'm in at the supermarket, $900 for 3. I'm happy enough, $900 for 3. I said, that don't mean to even drink 3 Magnum. No, guys. That's what we have to work with. But I work very well with just about all the tradesmen because I kind of study their idiosyncrasies and their mannerisms, and I kind of know a little bit about them family too, so I kind of can jive with them and talk to them and so on. But the truth is, a lot of trades persons here, especially older ones, didn't really go to school to learn the trade. Them learn sitting beside somebody and going with somebody and so on. It's really only the electricians I find that have a proper structure in place in terms of training, exams that they have to take, and they have to be licensed, right?
I think the licensing is what creams off the best one.
Yeah, license, the whole licensing process.
And maintaining it, you have to have a certain discipline to maintain your license.
Right. So
and that after you do your work, there's somebody that checks it.
Yes. There's an inspector that checks it and passes it before you can actually get connection to JPS. So the electricians guys are the absolute best in trades. But the rest of man. Which is why I went to Heart and learn, because I need to be able to catch the error. I need to be able to catch it before they make the error and it actually costs me some money. Man, but that is my experience. So today I'm cleaning up. And then on Monday, Tony-Ann and her crew will come in and put in the kitchen and put on the fixtures on the bathroom. Right, Tony? You're doing that on Monday?
No, you're telling me that.
I thought you would have scheduled because you know that the Tyler is finished.
I didn't know the Tyler was finished.
Yeah, man, it's finished. So, cleaning up today, and then tomorrow you come in. I guess maybe you need one day, right? Install the kitchen cupboard, install the countertop, put in the sink, put on the fixtures in the bath. Or you have to put on the toilet as well. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be there all day.
I'm thinking I'm gonna call other plumber to do that because the kitchen, as simple as that little kitchen is, it takes all day to put it in because the walls aren't straight, the granite has to cut. It's just a whole thing with that little kitchen.
So you're calling a plumber or carpenter to deal with the granite?
No, I have to call in the carpenter to deal with the granite. I can put in the kitchen sink and the connections and all of that, but I'm talking the bathroom on the other end.
What? Just the face basin and the toilet?
Yeah.
Or you need help to that?
Yeah, it's a 2-man job actually.
Huh?
It's a 2-man job.
What, the toilet and stuff?
Toilet and face basin, yeah.
Or it's a 2-man job? Okay. So you think you're gonna call the plumber for that?
Yeah.
You're doing the kitchen, or you're just gonna call the plumber for everything? Maybe you should just make the plumber for everything.
Yeah, what is the bending is getting to me, especially because I've gained weight. I've found that my back is not as strong anymore. And so, like, even to bend for the toilet and bend down on the sink, I don't know what's going on. Like everything in my midsection is getting weak.
I need some sit-up, man.
But I've been doing sit-ups.
Oh.
I've been doing those whole heap of sit-ups and squats and all sorts of things.
All sorts of things. Oh, you're still a week out. Here.
All right, we got a couple questions, Mom. Like, Dwayne wants to know how much would you think it would cost to do a 1-bedroom, living room, kitchen addition to my property? Thinking of a second Airbnb.
Square footage. Depends how cheap or expensive you want to be. You can multiply anywhere from, we used to be at 10,000 per square feet up to 20,000. Just depends on how. So multiply your square footage. If your square footage is 500, then it's 500 times 10,000, which is 5 million. So it can be as low as 5 million, or it can be as high as 20 million. Just really depends. Depends on your roof, depends on your fixtures. Block and steel is the same wherever you go. Depends on the type of windows you use, the type of doors. You can put in a door for 30,000. You can go buy a $5,000 door. You can buy porcelain or you can buy ceramic. So rule of thumb, really cheap construction, 10,000. Medium 15, high end about 20. So measure your square footage and then multiply. It should be good. You should have an idea.
All right. And if it's Airbnb, depending on your location, you might want to go higher end with the fixtures so that the place presents nice.
Nice on the inside. Well, depends on
Where you are.
Yeah, and what you're doing. But you always want to be nice, look good, luxury. I always say if Tony wants me to go do rustic Airbnb out in the boons and the bush and whatever. But I'm saying if I ever go to any of those places, inside has to be luxury. I'm not into the mosquitoes and the roach and the lizard coming through the window. Not top. Oh, it's nature. No, 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 no.
Yeah, but a rustic Airbnb would not be for your type of person.
No, and I want hot water just the same. I don't want a cold water. Even if you boil hot water on the stove, give me a bit of hot. Sharika says, workman woes worries me. Face pink, tears. Don't worry, just dive in. Deal with it as it comes, right? That's what you do. You face the challenge head on. Because at the end of it, you should have something, the multiplier effect should have something way more valuable than the little stress.
Than the stress, yeah.
Yeah.
And G said workmen in Jamaica are not respective for time, always late.
Yeah.
That's Jamaicans on a whole. Like that's not just workmen in Jamaica. That's like the whole country.
Like the whole country.
Probably.
Yet when the day finish, them know say 5 o'clock door.
I know, right?
You reach the door 1 minute past 5. You ain't getting in.
That's always funny.
Funny. The only way you get in is if the owner is there. The owner is there, yeah. But as long as the workers, forget that. Duncan says some tradesmen have very low work ethics. Just must smoke a split. Listen to loud music. Regard for safety. Attitude stinks. Yeah.
But I found that they have good attitude. The attitude is, I haven't found a problem with that.
Attitude. Yeah, I haven't found attitude problem. Yeah. What I find is the smoking. But I don't work with workmen who smoke spliff. That's the first thing. The spliff mess up them brain. Some of them workmen I work with tend not to smoke spliff, or if they're gonna work for me, they know no smoking before you come. Whereas if I'm gonna pick them up in my car and all of that, no smoking. So like Rambo, who I'm picking up this morning, he smokes, but he's not gonna smoke knowing that he's coming with me today, right? I don't find attitude problem. I don't find disrespect problem either. You Tony, you don't find that.
I don't. No. Generally nice, agreeable men. It's just that you have to nurture and feed them to get them to do the work.
Yeah. So like one of my things when I pick up a tradesman, so like even the same Tyler there, I bought him a soup in the morning. I love the soup tea. And in Jamaica, if you're up on the corners, the soup pot there already, as early as 9 o'clock. Or porridge, one of those. So when I leave here now, today, so I'll pick him up. And I get into a restaurant, both of us. We have porridge, we have kidney, we have stewed chicken, we have all kind of thing. We eat a whole lunch before the work starts, literally. Because the truth is, them can't work if them hungry, right? A lot of these men leaving their homes, even them leave them girlfriend or wife, whatever, not even like a fried dumpling them get. Nothing. Put it that way. So I personally know that when people are hungry, they're miserable. I am like that. Ask Tony. We're driving and mommy start getting hungry, she know it instant because trust me, my brain doesn't function.
You start talking about where's the nearest restaurant? Where's the
Yeah.
nearest dollar shop? How quick we get in there? I'm like, why don't you organize yourself better?
Yeah, totally organized with that and our food, but not me because I'm on the streets. So I have to get to the food get to the streets where the food is, right? So this morning we'll definitely eat. I always feed them before, actually. So even if I'm having a work day of a cast or whatever, me make sure who is the cook. Yes, all right. Designated cookies here. Fine. What you want me to bring? This day, bring 10 pound of chicken, bring 5 pound of. There's a fish when them like when name fish name. Now remember, it's a fryers. Name fryers. Those in Jamaica will know what that is. Name fryers. Bring 10 pound of fryers. Bring how much pound of cornmeal and flour and rice and tin peas and whatever seasoning them want. You know you have to have that for the day. Take them through. A hungry man is a hungry man. So that mellow them down.
Music doesn't bother me that much either.
One.
I mean, I tend to work. I like working in quiet because a lot of my work is done in my brain rather than physical activity. So I need the silence to work. But I realize that when you're doing trade work, you need the noise.
Yeah, you need the noise. Unfortunately, guys, you need the noise.
Even when I'm doing trade work, I realize that my brain cannot be silent. Like I need to have some music or something to get me through it.
Yeah, and you have to have the chattings too. So if you don't have the music, you have to have the chattings. So you talk about everything. What me yesterday on the news. Tony look like I'm in a cold.
Is it from the thing that you had last week?
I don't know. But my sinus is draining now too. So you have to have the chattings, right? The bantering, the little jostling, the little teasing, and you have to have that on the site. Yeah. So you have music.
The only thing that gets me out with workmen is every couple of minutes they catch, look on their phone, and then they catch and look on the phone is 30 minutes later. Now that I don't like.
Well, what I tend to do is task them. So I say, install the toilet, install the face base, install the shower thing. This, and this. I tend to task. And then I go. If I'm there all day, it depends. So when am I there all day? Usually for foundation, casting, or steel work. Because I make sure that goes well, right? And I'm usually there maybe at 2 hours for the block work to make sure that they put in the template properly and all of that. But the casting is when I'm there all day. If we're doing it by hand, even if we're doing it by premix, then I have to be there all day. So what I do is give commands, I give command. Remember you doing the leveling? So go and get your tampering and leveling tool made, that kind of thing. Run back the card line so we can see the level. Them 10 for 1 judge level, but I don't do that. When I'm there, I make sure I have my card line in the ground. And I know the level that the concrete must reach. I put things to help myself to monitor them to make sure that they're in line. And in between your banter, you talk. You offer them a water because everything is there on the site already, So I move around them and you talk to them and so on, kind of thing. That's what I do. Or I'll jest to. And so hold on a little bit. You don't say the one lead, boss. You don't say the one lead. That them will stop now. What is it? Puzzled now, you know. Puzzled. What name is the? No, the one name. So put a level on it, let me see, man. Put a level on it. So you have to give like a joke up on the side kind of thing, you know? You said things like, "Wow, I'm gonna kissing the wife this morning before they come work. Brethren, what's going on with you? Why you look so? You know, getting a kiss this morning, what? But then maybe because I'm older, I can really run certain jokes in them. Not a problem, because I'm like their mother, right? This is what I hear some of my other supervisors saying, who younger than me. Myself is you can't say anything to them money and get over with it, you know. When me say them things to them some of this them I'm too young and I'm going like say, true, that's true. Because the truth is most men in Jamaica grows with their mother or their grandmother. So they so like with Tony now, and we kinda don't want to do what Tony said. Kinda. Depends on which one. New ones maybe, but not the older ones. Older ones know me, so the respect lead on to Tony. So I don't find a problem with attitude, or disrespect, laziness, yes. Tardiness, yes. For the most part, they tend to know their work, but you still have to make sure you square up and level up.
And the shortcut.
And the shortcuts I love to take. What I have a problem with is them not finishing all of the work I want to pay. Very nice problem.
Just
so
because
to get around that, what you do is itemize each thing that they're going to do. So when you finish that, you pay. Finish that, you get paid. Don't make them lump sum you. Tell you, oh man, yeah man, 200,000. Unless it's really a little tiny checklist. And depends how you're working with. So like I have some people who I can always call back and say, hey, you don't finish that, you know, come deal with it. Fine. But some of them call back, no sir. So make sure you get your list. You have your list. Put in the sink, yes, tick. Faucet, yes, tick. Do that. Right?
Or the one that want pay before the work starts.
No, that's a no-no. It's the need an advance for the work. It's the sort of thing I need an advance.
I need advance to come to work.
To do what? To do what? Some of them don't know about shuffle. So I said, no, it's not going for me. You know, I'm not pay you or bus fare and your lunch money to come and work. You don't even live try it. But you want come talk about what? You're buying any material here, you're not buying any material. So I must give you advance. That's what you are to guard against that. Don't give tradesmen advance. If they need to buy material, you really need to go make them give you the list and go buy the material yourself, guys. Don't fool around with that. Don't give them money to go buy material. Find somebody, a relative who you trust or yourself, and go get it done. Buy the material, get it there. And you must check behind them too. How much of that you need? Or X? How you calculate that? Oh yes, that times that. Everything in construction is calculation. Everything have a maths behind it. So work through with the tradesmen. What's the maths? Even the paint that you're going to put on the wall have a maths behind it. The tin will tell you how much square foot the paint cover, right? So work it out. I find them weakness, yes, is in maths too. They have a weakness with mathematics as well. So you have to check behind them.
And they have a weakness in judging the value of the work too.
Yeah. They will rob themselves, quite frankly.
or they say, I never realized it's so much work.
Yeah. After them start, you know.
I'm like, yeah. But you yourself have to really know the value of the work, because invariably you have to add some money to it based on the price that they give you sometimes.
Yeah, because they're going to get disgruntled.
Yeah.
All right, any questions? Remember, on YouTube Live, real estate, money, finance. Well, we're talking about real estate now and construction. But if you have any money, finance questions, you can ask. Tony Maxine have a question for you.
Before that, Alea says, good morning, Tony and Claudia. I must have breakfast.
Yes, must eat. Yeah, me too. I can't function without. That's why I have my almond milk here right now. This morning I'm drinking soybean milk from I don't even remember the name of the company.
And you know, the funny thing is, I can function with or without food. I don't place that much value on having to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Um, what I do tend to find out is that if I've had a good breakfast, though, I'm pretty good for the rest of the day until about dinner time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have to have something else to do.
Maxine wants to know, Tony, as a plumber, do you know if the faucets for the kitchen, bathroom, and shower things can work in Jamaica? Buying it in the UK. I know the American ones work here. I'm not sure what the end connections are for the British ones because I'm not sure if they're using Plex over there as yet, which I suspect they may be based on the weather or copper. But it depends on the connections that you have at the end. Usually, our fittings are connected with a male adapter at the end, and then that's connected to some form of angle valve, especially for the faucets and the heat sinks, right? So you just need to make sure that whatever fixture you have, it has a flex tube connection that's either what is it, mom? It's a half inch or what's the other one?
Half by half.
Half by half or half by, there's a smaller one.
You've got 3/8.
3/8, right? Something like that. That connection is there at the end. Then it can work out here.
So you have to make sure that it can use a PVC attachment.
Yeah.
The PVC male adapter. That's all you have to make sure is because our connections are half inch. So you make sure you're half inch. You can screw in a half inch male adapter in the faucet bottom.
Or if it uses a flex tube connection.
Right. Flex tube. Right.
Then it can work. Caribbean Spurs says, I've never met an electrician in Jamaica who has the correct machine that does dead tests, polarity tests, and live testing. It's 800 to 1,000 pounds machine that they can wear on their neck. Have you seen?
No, never. I've seen them with a machine. Or electricians have some machine that them use to test. But I think they're testing if it live.
Yeah.
There's power there. Basically. I don't know what is polarity and dead test.
Yeah, it's just a little thing with a little pencil thing attached to it, don't it? That has the red and blue cord. I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
That I see them testing with.
I just call it a tester.
I mean, but if it's electricity, can't you just touch it and you'll know if it's live or dead?
Yeah, right. Like the same Tyler. He disconnected and plugged it up. Because it was in his way to tile. He disconnected it up. And then in the morning when he came, he's like, Miss D, I need to shut down the breaker off a plug, put back this together. And I said, so who pull it? Him pull it in when it was alive, you know. I know what tell me people turn on break up. I said, listen to me, but I know I'm drunk when he pull it, obviously. I know I'm a little bit more sober, I'm conscious if you know when I do, I get shocked.
That goes back to Duncan's thing about safety. No,
yeah.
for the safety.
Yeah. Luckily for me, the electrician was coming in that same day. So he was able to reconnect it. But I'm like, yeah, right. You know, I'm not shut down the breaker. And you see, I'm not even thinking because the breaker is right there in the passage that he passes all the time. All you have to do is shut down the main breaker first. Just shut that down and the whole place will shut down. I do connection and turn it down back. I wasn't going to tell him that. So I just called the electrician. How far are you there? I'm there half hour. I said, wait for electrician, man. Yeah. Are you familiar with the foam balance as an alternative block and steel? If yes, what's your view on using it? Sorry, everybody, man. No sinus is draining. I'm out. I know a Freeform factory does it at non-spend. I think that's where they are. But when I wanted to use it on a build, I realized that they were quoting me the same cost as if it was block and steel. So I just went with block and steel.
Is it easier to install?
I don't know. I know block and steel, but I don't know. That system is them one of them spread the foam inside of the panel, something like that. That's how I go. Oh gosh.
You want to go to the bathroom?
I might have to go. Do I have anything I can take for this now? I need something to stop my sinus from draining.
You can take some pharmacolan flu. It works for that.
But you have to eat to take that.
You just had almond milk. That should be good enough to coat your
I don't
stomach.
even drink it to finish it yet. It's halfway.
Is that the brand you normally drink? It could be it draining.
Yesterday. Yeah, this is a sardine one.
Yes. Anthony says it's a tester. It also has numbers on it.
Oh. Yeah, but Duncan, the block and steel, I just use the block and steel. Unless they foam wall panels. My thing is a hurricane, you know. So I want the outside walls to be block and steel. I don't want a little pick come huff and puff and blow it down. No. I know the block and steel is solid, good for, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
The block and steel is no breeze can blow it down. Put it that way.
M says, morning, everyone. Miss C, is it risky to buy land that doesn't have a registered title?
Risk in the sense that if you don't have the history of the land, so they must can show you the receipts and so on that them buy the land. Or them granny buy the land, them buy the land from them granny, and so on, and them are gonna sell you now. So they must have some history coming in. Because when you are ready to go and try and get the title, you have to show the history.
And not just a history. You have to show what, 20 years or 40 years worth of history?
History. And you have to have two persons who can give the affidavit. Two persons over 50 who know the land more than 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you buy the land, that person must can give you somebody who know the land more than 30 years and know say them over 50 years old and know that they bought the land from them granny who did buy the land from Master and so on. You have that history. But I always say the person who is on the tax roll now, encourage that person to get the title. Work with that person and get the title. It's better to get it when they're alive. If your grandmother is alive and her name is on the tax roll, work with her now. Go through Geoland. Oh, Tony. Excuse me, everybody. I'm gonna try and see if I can take something. Trying to think, Tony. What can I take? What do I have? You said take the pharmacolan flu.
Yeah, go and take the pharmacolan flu.
All right. Soon come back, everybody.
All right, so we're here for a few minutes by ourselves until she comes back. All right, let me see if I can answer any questions. Nadine says, hello, ladies. Any news on Mobe or Trelawney or St. Anne lands for Homestead? I haven't seen Mom all week, but when she comes back, we'll ask her about that. I know we did pull, I think, title for one or two of them. I was reviewing it. So I will get back to her on that one. Duncan says, what's your preference, pre-mix or manual labor? Duncan, our preference is always pre-mix. What happened is you can take a chance with manual labor, but for the most part, they won't get the measurement of the mix correct. And the premix one is more guaranteed. It also spreads quicker because you remember, depending on the roof type that you have, 1-story, 2-story, these men are carrying them up in buckets and mixing on the ground. So the mixing is not always consistent. And sometimes if they are using the mixer, right? Sometimes it's a slow process and it's just not efficient. Just pay your money, call premix, let them take the 30 minutes, pour your deck, and then you just wet your deck. It's more efficient that way, and you get a better quality product that way. Ruby says, "Good morning, morning, Ruby." Dan Saul says, some workmen come and don't have the simplest thing: ladder, broom, rakes, or no drive to come or bring their tools. Yes, that is so true. That is so true. I mean, on our house, we literally have a storeroom of all the tools that workmen would use, because usually when they like, so the carpenter and our electrician will come with their tools, right? But usually with our tiler and our painter will come with his paintbrushes for the most part. But we usually have to provide the extra buckets to drop cloths, those type of things. Um, Simply because they're not organized. I mean, they do the job, their trade, like it's a hobby. Like they barely prepare to get paid, if you know what I mean, right? They work based on feelings rather than needing to actually provide income to support themselves. So they treat it like it's like a hobby. I mean, it's sad, but that's the nature. And you know, the thing is, tradesmen work good money. So if they took the time to really take the trade serious and invest in their tools, then they would have what they need. I remember we did another renovation, and the carpenter that came to put up the drywall partitions and everything, he actually lived in England for a few years and then came back here to work. And the man came, you know, those Benz panel vans? He had one of those Benz panel vans that he brought from England. And when you open it, he had all his tools, just bags and carts and everything of tools in there that he came to do the job. The only thing we had to provide him with was the material. We call another local carpenter. Even the saw we have to give him. Like the saw is not something that he would use every day anyway. But it's Jamaican workmen just don't buy tools. They don't buy tools, and they don't provide themselves with a lifestyle to store the tools, right? And when they do buy tools, they don't buy the good tools. So every minute they break down, right? And they have a mindset where they can just borrow this there and borrow that there, and sad. Sad but true. Sad but true. And you know, the funny thing is sometimes when they even have the tools, they leave them. They leave them. Right now at our house, we have one of those construction levels. The level is about 6 feet tall because it's taller than me. And we've had it in our storeroom for about 2 years now after we did an extension to the house. And we called the contractor and said, "We have your level. Come and collect your level. Don't need your level for your job." And it's still there. Even a steel man came to do some work, and that tool that they used to bend the steel is still at our house. They didn't come back to collect it. So when he could have had his tool, he's left it, and now he doesn't have it. He would have to go and buy a new one. Daniel says, "Think you're talking the megahum meter?" Ah, okay. That's a little tester. Okay. Thanks for that, Danielle. And Farah says, "Good morning, Miss D and Tony. How deep should a foundation be digged to, and how would you check that the workmen dig the foundation to the right depth? That's a question for mom. I did not go to construction school. So when she come back, we ask her about the foundation. There is a depth, yes, but if I remember mom correctly, she usually goes, I think, maybe a foot or two deeper, and then she casts the deck. Casts the footing, sorry. But we'll ask her about that. We'll ask her about that and the homestead once she comes back. Danielle says Caribbean Spurs, they do have it, but they hardly use on a domestic installation, mostly for commercial. Oh, okay. Danielle, how you sound like an electrician, so are you an electrician, Danielle? Sharika says, how difficult is it to get the title on land that was willed to you? Land was cut off from a part of parents' land, but still on main title. This was gifted. Child build on the land, but wants to own title. Sharika, that is not hard to do, but it just takes maybe about a year's time to do. Um, it's the same geoland that mom was talking about, where you would submit the deed of gift that your parents gave you, or the will, along with your parents' title, along with the survey that's showing what portion they cut off, and then you would pay geoland a sum to get a title for yourself for it. It's not a hard process. You just submit all the documents that they request of you once they listen to your case, and then you just sit down and wait, and it takes about a year for them to get it done. Especially if your parents are the ones on title and they left all the documentation for you to get it, no issues. Only unless like somebody else is contesting your claim to it. But if you have the will, shouldn't be an issue. Alea says, having tools shows you're serious. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It does show that you're serious. And something as simple as the measuring tape. It's one of the main tools they don't have. I always wonder, like, why don't you have a measuring tape? And I realized the ones that don't have the measuring tape can't read the measuring tape. That's why I'm judging it. That's why I'm judging it. JRW says, good morning, ladies. Morning, JR. Mom will be back soon. She's feeling a little under the weather. Caribbean Spurs is saying, Danielle, residential is just as important or maybe more important than commercial premises. All installations, it should be used. Earth and impedance testing is crucial when commissioning. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I am. Yes, Daniel. Thanks for confirming that. I figured. All right. Yes, it's important. I don't know why they don't use it every day, but I mean, I hardly hear of any cases in Jamaica where when a house is done by an actual electrician, it's burned down. Usually the ones that are burning down are the ones where somebody who thinks they know a little bit about construction and thinks they know a little bit about electricity, and they're the ones rigging up these houses. Those are the ones that usually burn down. But anybody have any questions that I can answer? Non-technical construction questions. Let me see what's going on with mom. Shouldn't take her so long to swallow 2 tablets.
Tony, all right, everybody, I'm back. Tony trying to call me. My phone is dead, actually.
Mommy, at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Would you believe me? That long thing with Matthew last night, I flopped in my bed and didn't charge it.
I have two main questions for you, Mom. So, what's her name? Farah wants to know. How deep should a foundation be dig to, and how would you check that the workmen dig the foundation to the right depth?
Well, it should be a minimum 3 feet. Check it with a tape measure. Either get a yardstick. No, the yardstick that the
Dressmaker use.
the dressmakers use. So what I normally do to check it, I'm standing above. So what I normally do, I get a piece of 1 by 3 and I measure the 3 feet on the 1 by 3. And then I put it in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mark where the 3 feet is supposed to be, and then I put it in the ground and test it. But you're not gonna know if you're not there. So if they've built up the house already, you won't know if it's 3 feet, really, unless you dig.
So you mean you just on the day one when they dig in the foundation, you measure it?
Yeah, you make sure that it's 3 feet. So while you're going through and digging, on clay soil, I tend to go 1 more foot deeper with my footings, or columns, or stiffeners. So for the main columns, let us say I'm doing a house that's like I'm doing one now that's 26 by this 26. So I have three in the back. So I have a corner, I have 2 L's in the corner, I have a stiffener in the middle. I come to the front, I have the same L in the corner. So the L met the corner, right? I have a stiffener in the middle. And down the middle again, I have another stiffener in the middle. So I have 9 of those things. So I'm 1 foot deeper on each footing, each 9. So I'm actually 4 feet in the ground with the columns, or the, you know, them on the road as stiffeners. Stiffeners, that's what they call them. So I'm 4 feet in the ground with those. The rest of the foundation, I'm 3 feet. Why I'm doing that? That's clay. Tend to shift, tend to clay soft, right? It's not like rock and so on. So I tend to go down a little deeper just to make sure. And then depending on the soil, so the type of clay too, I might put a ground beam when I get to the floor level as well. So I put a ground beam at the floor level and then I cast up the floor. So yeah. But Tony, there's a question. So it's 3 feet deep, sir, minimum. So there was a question about a will. When you have a will, you need to probate the will. So take the will to a lawyer, make sure you have a copy, and ask the lawyer to probate the will. So the lawyer is going to go through the court system and probate the will. When the will is now probated, so whether or not a title exists, or she's giving you as a common law. So your granny had 10 acres of land, and all she has is a tax paper to say she's on it as a tax roll, but she don't have a title. But she left a will to say, Farah must get this 10 acres of land. You're going to probate the will, irrespective of the fact that this particular land don't have any title.
Okay.
When you probate the land now, then you go to jail land using that, the probate, the everything, and you get the title.
Okay.
All right. If you already have a title, all you need to do is go probate. You go to probate, whoever is the executor, you get it to the lawyer and so on, and then it will be transferred to your name.
And you get a new title?
No, the same title.
Even though it's the piece you want? Just a piece?
Oh, that was so they left it in a, let me see now. So they left it in a will. So it was a big piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a title. Had a title?
Let me see. Hold on.
So if it had a title before, and it's a big piece of land, what you're doing is a subdivision.
Okay.
That now you go through subdivision process to the parish council.
To just get a little piece?
Yeah.
No, they don't
person is alive.
Well, they left a will, so they're not alive, mommy.
Oh, ouch.
But the executor can do it. So
Wait.
the first step, if you have a title, you probate the will.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then what you
That's
do?
it. Right. So you still have to probate the will. Because the
There
will
is,
is supposed to say that you must get that little piece, that's all?
yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to do subdivision. So you're going to have to sign, the executor will have to sign to say yes as the person who is now in charge.
Mm-hmm.
That this was willed to you
All right.
to
So
do the
let's get
subdivision.
if you have a title and then left a will that you must get a piece of the 10 acre, they need to
Mhm.
probate the will. Right?
Yeah.
And then the executor will submit to what? Parish council to
Yeah, to get the
subdivide
subdivision done.
that little piece. Right.
Subdivision
And if
approved.
subdivision approval. And if there's no title, but they left a will, you still have to probate the will, but then you got geoland.
After that. No,
After
you still have to get,
subdivision approval,
yeah. And then you got geoland. You have to try go, boy, I may not even know. You can't subdivide land without title. Yeah.
but the
Yeah, you can. The executor can do it. Because no, the executor is in charge. Once there's a will, yeah. If there's no will, you go administration without will.
no man, there's a will.
How
Oh,
much for
but
a rent service to sell a property? That's 5% of the selling price.
only somebody asking about your homestead. Let me see if I can find out the question.
My coffee.
Is your sickness from last week, you know?
Probably I forgot to the doctor make him give me an x-ray of my chest. See what's going on.
Oh, I have look on my waiter. No, I may have taken it up. If you see a little blue box to the right of where you're sitting, that's a cough medicine.
No, nothing is in here.
Nothing's on the table to your right. Okay.
But I just found a cough medicine, so maybe it's sutropine. Let's hope I don't fall asleep.
Okay.
All right. So
Right.
that
So Nadine wanted to know any news on the Mobe or Trelawney or Saint Anne land for the homestead.
the Riverland. The
Mm-hmm.
Riverland. All right. So we've been looking at them online. As a matter of fact, we have had some pretty good possibilities. Tonian is to do, I think what Tonian forgot was a pledge. So how many persons we have now who have registered? So those of you who you weren't here last week, we're trying to form a group to do homesteading, right? I know one of the criteria is that the land must have a river because we really want to do some farming. So what I need to do now, so we have formed a group who showed interest. Think how many persons we have, Tony?
I think it's 22.
22 persons already signed up. So
22.
22. So I'm going to form a group on Telegram. Why am I using Telegram? Because Telegram allows persons who join late to be able to see all the discussions that took place before. So that's why I'm going to use Telegram. So those of you who have signed up and you don't have Telegram, you need to download Telegram because I'm going to be forming that group in Telegram. So as soon as you sign up the form that Tony has out, Tony, did you put the form in the chat?
It's in last week's chat. I will put it here now.
Right. So sign up if you want to be a part of that. So when we get into the smaller group, which is the Homestead group 2024, we will now narrow it down. Narrow it down to what it is that we want. So we need to set some parameters on what it is that we want. One of the things we were saying last week was definitely a river, so I know that much. As to what else now is another matter. Do we need to have piped water from NWC? Do we need to have electricity? Do we need to be on the main? Or can we be 5 to 10 kilometers up in the hill? What are the parameters kind of thing? Do we need to have a sea view? That's the thing that's what we need to work out now when we get into the smaller group. So we don't work out this here. What we do is we're going to form it on Telegram, and then that group, those who are interested, will determine what we do. And also, there will be a pledge form. So we will drop the pledge form in the Telegram group, and persons can pledge how much capital, how much money they have to put towards this. So we tally it up, we have an idea of the price, what we can afford in terms of land to buy. We found lands up to 14,000 US. Was it, Tony? Or 14
Yes.
million?
14 million.
14 million US. And as low as 500 or something thousand.
You found land for 500,000
US.
Oh.
Didn't we? In St. Mary, I think it was.
Oh, the last one we looked at.
Yeah.
We saw. We got a link for.
Right.
You know,
So we also need to decide on the parishes that we will look at too. That's what we need to break down so that going out, we know what we're looking for. With the previous group that we did, the parishes were St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, and we settled on Portland. We wanted Sea View, we got that. We wanted NWC, piped water, we got that. As a matter of fact, we're right beside the NWC pump. How lucky. We wanted electricity, we wanted cable, and we wanted to be on the main road. We got all of that. So I know that we must set the criteria first. When we set the criteria, that way we know when we pull out and the price. Now we went a little over price. Our budget was 200,000. But when we saw that land, checked all the boxes, it was 400,000 US. So we had to say, okay, let's just do it. Let's raise our budget and just do it. Because 200,000 would not put us on the main. Not in Jamaica anyway. At the time. Now it looks like we need at least $1 million US to be on the main. Oh my God.
But I think in this case, we don't need to be on the main. That's the thing.
You have 3 years. Well, when the group meets, we can decide how far up in the boonies we want to be. I call it the boonies. I tend to be a main road girl. I really prefer to be on the main, to be honest. I don't like driving up in the hills.
That's because you drive out a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot of driving. So I really prefer to just highways are my thing. I mean, if I could have, we went to Mandeville and it was such a pleasure driving on the highway.
It was surprising. It was so quick. It was so quick.
Before you blink, we were in Mandeville, right? We were chatting or whatever. It was like nothing. And the road is really good.
Only to think that you drove out at 2:00. We were in Mandeville by 3.
By 3.
Right? And we were home by like 6:00, remember?
Went to A Vista, which is an apartment complex being built by Proven. It's in Mandeville, right beside Megamart. So Tony will send out those videos and you'll see beautiful place. Beautiful place. Even me looking at it now, why didn't I buy one at the time? Claudia, really?
That's an apartment person.
Not an apartment person, but this one is a no-brainer. Seriously.
Yeah, it's
The
nice.
corridors are wide, you have everything. Literally. You don't feel cramped or anything. The space is just spacious, really, really great design in terms of apartment living, you know? You don't feel like you're in an apartment building because of because this architect really went to town on lighting and space um, layout. Really good architect.
What I liked about it too is because it's on so much land,
Yeah.
even though you're in an apartment, you can come outside, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's on
You
so
don't
much land.
have- and so
Not like some of these that I'm seeing that the land space is so cramped. As you step out of the apartment, you're literally into a wall kind of thing.
when I
No.
looked at it, I was like, this could have been an old age home, like for people who are still able bodied and stuff, but still wanted to live in a community setting. So you still have your own space, but then there's so much greenery and outside space. You can still come out and meet and greet. And even inside, it's almost like a mini hotel on the ground floor because you have the gym and spaces where you can congregate and you have meeting rooms and stuff like that, that you can still be together.
They have a nice entrance. Entrance is nice. Something like that. Well, EcoStead will have something like that as well in Portland. And talking about Portland. All right, before I get to Portland, I see somebody saying onion or sugar. Honey, cover it for fuel and the sweat. As my granny would say, "Have the onion and drink a tablespoon." Before you say I must sweat it out. Sharika gave me a thing last week too, and I said I was gonna do it, and then I rushed out to do the same construction the Sunday. And the whole week I've been back and forth with this construction. I don't get to it, but I need to do it before I leave here today. So somebody's asking to explain what the homestead is. Don't fully understand it. Tony, you. Over to you.
Oh, so a homestead. So you have single family homesteads and you have multi-family homesteads. So at the core of it, a homestead is a self-sustaining property, right? So you're completely off the grid and everything that you basically consume is grown or raised on the homestead, right? So what we're thinking is a multi-family homestead, right? Where several persons will get together, buy a large property of land together and develop the land together. So we basically want to have three aspects to our homestead, right? We want it to provide a place for us to live, right? So everybody can have a little plot where they can put their home, right? Two, we want it to be self-sustaining in terms of providing fruits, vegetables, and maybe animal rearing, so that whatever is produced on the homestead we can eat, right? It also should include our utilities, so things like um, sorry, storing water, right? Whether through rainwater harvesting or siphoning from the river, right? We also want to have it solar connected so that our houses are powered by solar and then use something like Starlink to connect our internet service, right? And the third thing is we want the homestead to be self-producing, so have an element where if we're offering, for example, river tours or camping, things that can bring in income to the homestead to help maintain it as well while we're there, and not just us taking out of our pockets to feed it every month.
Okay. So you said three things. So living, accommodation, um, utilities, and rainwater harvesting. So you said, and
Mhm.
and food production and any other thing that you can do to produce income.
All right.
What you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So basically, that's it. So this is buy your own 2 acre, 10 acres or whatever, and do that on your own. Or you can do it as a group. So what Tony suggested is to do it as a group, which she had suggested before, 3 years ago, on this very same YouTube channel. Some persons here now today are a part of that first homestead that we formed. That group or company is called Ecosted. So that's Ecosted Development Limited. That's the name of our company that was formed to handle that. So we already have found our lands. We already have gotten subdivisions done. So in this, we also have to, that's for the planting of, but we're planting short crops. So we're not doing animal rearing, right? So I'm hearing Tony to say that difference with the other one, maybe animal rearing might be involved. So we're doing short crops and trees, mango, breadfruit, you name it. So we're going to actively put in those. We also have another element. So we also have the element of apartment buildings that can be used for seniors or Airbnb and so on. And actually, Airbnb is one of our income earners. So it's a similar concept, but I'm hearing that. So for that one, the only difference with this one, new one here now, is the river. Right, Tony?
Yeah.
That's the only difference, really. And maybe not main road. So for that one, we wanted main road, but this one want river, and because we know river is inland and tricky to get on the main. I've never seen a river on the main, have I?
Yeah, it comes out on a main eventually.
Yeah, because it comes to the sea.
Yeah. But it's usually commercialized already.
Yeah, commercial on the main. So we were really lucky in getting Portland. And talking about Portland, we're gonna look at an article. Bound Brook, which is in Portland, just about 5 minutes from where we are in Norwich, they broke ground for a commercial complex. So we're going to talk about that. It came out in an article. I actually watched the video of it. Very good. Those of you who want the video, you can WhatsApp me. I send it to you. Claudia asking how much to donate. We're not so sure yet. We're asking persons to pledge. So Claudia, if you want to be a part of the homestead, you're going to fill out the form that Tony posted so that when I form the group in Telegram, so go onto the App Store and download Telegram. It's the one with the arrow pointing to the right. Telegram, download that so that you can be a part of the group. So only if you fill out the form will you be a part of the group for the homestead. So I hope we explain what is a homestead. Tony, can we move into the article?
One moment. Just check if there's something we missed. Caribbean was saying, in the UK, we mainly use 15 millimeter copper pipes and fittings, right, at the faucet. Sometimes 22 millimeter pipes, then 15 millimeter reduced up with the faucet. Right, mostly copper pipes in England. So I'm not sure if it will fit.
PVC is what we need. You need to be able to connect to.
But there is a fitting. I learned it in plumbing school, but it was so long I can't remember now, that you can bridge between a PVC and a copper fitting. I just can't remember what it is now.
Alia's asking is, will we be under the umbrella name Ecosted name? No. So Ecosted is a different company that was formed. There are actually 20 shareholders now, 20 of us in that, right? I'm actually one of the directors. So I kind of spearhead it now. I'm actually the CEO on that now. So no, we'll form a totally different company to handle this. with all the, no, not say if you're already a EcoStead shareholder, you can still come over and be a shareholder in this new company as well. So I just want to have, we do the form and you pledge so that we can see what kind of funds we're talking about for it, right? The more people we have, the harder it is to manage, but the less funds you put together. That's the truth, right? So the less people is the more money each person need, but the more persons is the less money persons need. But I don't have a problem managing large groups. I was in the army. I used to manage in large groups. He told me, so I'm used to that, right? Plus, we're all moving towards in the same direction. I've heard persons say, "Claudia, don't make the group too big because we can't manage so much people with them money for different things on them want." But the truth is, if you come together and you're all moving in the same direction, that's the key, you know. Because you have large families who work together because they're all moving in the same direction. We have to move in the same direction. I'm not saying that it's smooth sailing, because even in EcoStead group, we had people we had to just run out of the group, literally fire them from the group. Because, yeah, them just was not going to jail with our group. You know, and they ended up doing something behind our back to why we had to really get rid of them. The same property that we were bidding on to get, they went ahead and was trying to also bid on it as an individual. So when we found out, we dismissed them from the group. That's how serious we are. So I had to call the other directors, make a decision, and say, no, let's just get rid of them. We did that, right? So in everything, you have a little Judas, but as long as you find them early, you can deal with it quickly. So it's the urban center that's been developed in St. Thomas. What exactly is the urban center used for? All right, so you're going to find out this now in this article, because the same concept is coming to Portland.
Let me try and find the article.
One of Tony's dreams. Yeah, one of Tony's dreams. She's still dreaming because she never get the river.
Such is life.
The river. Mom, we need to be self-sustaining. Well, EcoStead will have the rainwater harvesting and stuff built in from the buildings and so on. We want to make sure we have that. Tony, put the article back in the private chat to me so that I can read it from here.
Gotcha. Do you see the link?
Yeah, I see it. Thanks.
Okay. These Gleaner and Observer, they have too many ads, man.
And that's how they make money. You not give them no money. You not even buy the people them Observer. So big Portland push. PM provides details about 11 billion bypass development plan for waterfront. Now this is the Observer, August 18. Groundbreaking, symbolically, we have breaking for 4.2 billion Boundbrook Urban Center. So similar to St. Thomas, Urban Center, this one is Boundbrook, Portland. From left, you have the Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunication and Transport, Daryl Vaz, who is also a Member of Parliament for Portland Western. Then you have the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubrey Hill. You have China's Ambassador to Jamaica, Chen Dao-zhang. Deputy Mayor of Port Antonio Councillor, Rohan Vassell. You have Custos of Portland, Lincoln Thaxter. Member of Parliament for Portland Eastern, Anne-Marie Vaz. Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Chairman of Factories Corporation of Jamaica, Littleton Tanny Shirley. You have Barita Investment CEO, Ramon Small Ferguson. And CEO of NCB Capital Markets, Angus Young. Photos was done by Everard Owen. Bound Brook, Portland. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says plans are underway for a 75 million, 11.78 billion bypass of Portland that will hug scenic hills from St. Thomas to Portland after leaving the hustle and bustle of the town centre behind. It's part of a broader vision that includes the 4.2 billion Bound Brook Urban Centre, for which ground was broken on Wednesday, as well as an ambitious development plan for Port Antonio waterfront. We are also developing, as we speak, a bypass for Port Antonio that will go through the hills for US 75 million. Holness told those gathered for the groundbreaking ceremony on Wednesday. In his 2022-23 budget debate presentation, he had indicated that construction of the bypass was approved and could begin in the 2023-2024 financial year. This is the first time he has spoken of its price tag. He said, the project is at public investment approval stage. The idea is to route traffic in an efficient way that will alleviate congestion. That road will take out much of the traffic that is not here for sightseeing, that is not here to go into the town. They want to get about their business. Those that take the bypass road. But the bypass road is built for resilience because we have moved it offshore, and therefore we are giving the town of Port Antonio the opportunity to breathe, Holness explains. That bypass road will ultimately continue through the hills and connect to 14 kilometers of road between Yalas and Harborview. We're going to have essentially two roads. One, the main road that will carry heavy traffic, heavy volume, get it to where you're going quickly. And the other is the more scenic route that is for the tourism economy, which we intend to develop, coming all the way from St. Thomas, coming all the way around into Port Antonio. That's a vision, that's a long-term strategy, and every year we're building towards it, he added. Prime Minister said, having built the road network needed to propel Portland's tourism market forward, there would be a need to have buildings that are also built for purpose. He said, similar to projects at Bernard Lodge in Portmore and in Morant Bay, the Bound Brook Urban Centre will facilitate orderly development. It will have the municipal building, which is a parish council. It will have other government entities, which I imagine would be things like the tax office, maybe birth certificate, all of these people, right? Plus private facilities. It will be linked with the courthouse, and I believe the motor vehicle examination depot. I believe you have some more lands that you're looking to develop, but there is, my friends, a master plan. So this is not a chaka-chaka development, he said with a smile. The Prime Minister said this need to ensure that development was done in an orderly way had meant that the project took longer than his administration had wanted. One of the factors that pushed it back was the engagement of the services of a world-famous architect and urban developer. His name is Gordon Hill, a Jamaican. This is a man who has done designs for new cities in China, Saudi Arabia, Toronto, Dubai. And he's saying, I want my country to look like these places, said Holness. I agree, Mr. Gill. We want it to look like those places. All modern, eh? We brought him in, and they have done a massive development plan for the entire waterfront of Port Antonio, specifically looking at the lands owned by the Port Authority, the Urban Development Corporation, and other government entities. Portland is set for massive developments, but they're not going to be high density. High density development, no. We specifically want to avoid that. We're going for high value, low density development, including the development of the East Harbor into a cruise shipping port. All of that is being planned. So we're not just doing one little development and expect that one little development to spark and be the catalyst for new development. No, we have a well thought out, coordinated plan backed by the resources to sustain long-term infrastructure investment without interruption. That is what is different, he said, in making the distinction between what his administration is doing and what has been done by those before. work on the 148,000 square foot Bound Brook Urban Center, a blend of industrial and commercial activity, is being done by China Harbor Engineering Company. It is being spearheaded by Factories Corporation of Jamaica in collaboration with Barita and NCB Capital Markets, according to FCJ Chairman Lilton Tani Shirley. It will provide about 2,000 jobs. In addition, the Portland Municipal Corporation, the office, the Portland, in addition, the Portland Municipal Corporation, the tax office, and business processing outsourced companies, BPO, the urban center will house fast food outlets. It has a September 2026 completion date. The FCJ also has a hand in creating similar urban centers across Jamaica. These include the Montego Bay Urban Center in St. Thomas, as well as projects planned for Old Harbor in St. Catherine, the Negril and Negril, Westmoreland. Pointing to these projects, as well as the under construction Montego Bay Bypass, the East-West Highway from Maypen to Mandeville, and Portmore's recently opened Resilience Park, Holness challenged his critics to name a time when there was so much development happening in the country at the same time. It is an obtuse and perverse logic that a government that is doing what it's supposed to be doing is being criticized, he argued. As the Prime Minister being a politician right there. The Prime Minister and leader of the Jamaica Labour Party continued. A lot of people feel it's politics time. I don't ready for politics time yet. We will campaign on our record of performance. And what I'm busy doing is building. We are the government that is building Jamaica. We understand infrastructure. And this project will not be the last one. There you go, everybody. So the Prime Minister is building. So what are we doing? If not building. Some pictures of, is this in the article?
Yes.
Some pictures of what this urban center is going to look like. There's also a video out as well. So you can Google it. Bound Brook Urban Center. I'm sure you'll see the video and you'll see how beautiful it is. You heard him say they're also going to be expanding an entire port, the entire waterfront. Can you imagine now? So Portland is the next big push. So if you want to be in the forefront of where this will happen, Portland. No. We didn't have any foreknowledge of Portland, because I'm not even in politics. But you know, when the creator is in front, leading the way for you, you follow. Literally, you follow. There was just what is it, the word I'm looking for, Tony? What is it I'm trying to say? No, we never had any foreknowledge of all of this that was going to happen in Portland.
Not only that, too, the first time we drove to Portland was because of Homestead. It's not a parish we go to.
No, it's not. It's only because of the Homestead I went to Portland.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it luck while we are in Norwich, which is just 5 minutes away from the town center of Portland, and Bound Brook and all the activities? Well, luck is preparation meeting opportunity. That's
and
what
I think we were prepared.
We were prepared up to a point. We weren't prepared first, though, I give you the story. We weren't prepared first. We saw the land. It was the third land we looked at Portland when we first drove out. The very first day we drove out, they said, let's look for lands. And we saw it. So this thing, check all the boxes. We did a video. We sent it to the group. We said, this is it. We check all the boxes. We can't get any better than this. Man, oh man. By the time we spin like gig to get everybody to send the funds and do what we need to do, the thing went under offer. Somebody else put in an offer on the property.
Well, we hadn't even done that part yet.
No, we didn't even get the funds together yet.
We hadn't formed the company or the bank account.
Yeah, we didn't form the company or the bank account yet. Man, what I say, we just keep looking. We looked at lands in Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary. I don't think we looked at any in St. Thomas. We looked in all the other parishes.
No, we went to St. Thomas.
Went to St. Thomas?
Me, you, and Foster.
Oh, yes. And we looked at a land there. We looked at lands all over. I literally know the place, the North Coast now because of that EcoStead land search. And guys, I tell you, when I looked at all the other lands, I'm like, damn, Norwich is a place. And I kept saying, why didn't do it? And I kept praying. I said, Father God, please, you have to send me something else like Norwich. We were not prepared, but we are now prepared. Please send us something. One day, as I woke up, I saw a text message from one of the ladies who is now a shareholder as well. She said, Miss D, the land is back on the market. I said, what? No one jump up on my seat. I never even need to visit back the land. I said, come guys, let's get together. This thing is 400, but our budget was only 200. So everybody said, yeah, let's do it. And we went and we, Tony, you don't have any copyright on that, right?
On what?
On the Boundbrook Urban Center video.
What do you mean?
Are you going to hit for copyright for it?
No, I just sending them the link.
Just sending them the link. Okay. So, and I said, let's do it. And man, within a week, we open back account and we get the funds in, put in the offer. But we didn't even put in the offer. But we had to use somebody else in the group who had the funds to show that, yes, we have the funds. And then after that, we went and got everybody else to put in their funds. It was a journey. Jamaicans love to say, what is for you can be unfair. But the truth is, you better be prepared, right? I guess that person who put in the offer was not prepared. So you have to be prepared to, when you see it, you're going to know it. That's land. When you see it, you know it. And that's why the criteria is important. Because we had the criteria, we knew what we were looking for. So the other things just never cut it that we looked for. We were looking at, right? You have to just be prepared for it. So we never have no insider trader information to know that the Jamaican government is now looking to Portland to develop as an ex-tourist destination. Actually, history would have it that Portland was where tourism actually started. That's where it started, in Portland. So the push is now to get Portland developed. It's a beautiful parish, no doubt about that. And as you see, they want to keep it low density, but high value. Low density, but high value. So it's already high value in Portland. The Airbnbs in Portland are not cheap. So we want to modernize and get with it. So if you want to be in the forefront of, you're saying, where's the next push going to be? Where's the next push going to be? It's Portland, everybody. That's where it is, Portland. And where's the next push going to be inland? It is St. Catherine. That's where it is, with the new developments going on, everybody pushing to get the big lands and so on. That's where it is. So they're going to develop. Plus, Portland already have quite a number of tourism attractions. They do already have those. So it's just a matter of bringing everything else around it now, and we should be good. So Portland is on the move. Hope we get on the move with us. One of the parishes we should look at, Tony, for the new EcoStead is Portland. Is Portland, because I mean that's really where the action is gonna be.
Okay.
You know, from
easy commute from one homestead to the next.
Yeah, you can have synergies too, right? You can have synergies. Plus, remember now, to get to Portland, you can now jump into Kingston on the plane. So you jump into Kingston on the plane, you have a beautiful road. And as he says, there's going to be a bypass. So you will bypass. And then probably will start somewhere to the north. I don't know where they're starting, but the bypass in Port Antonio. So Port Antonio would be your only bottleneck because the rest of the road is smooth sailing. So You can smooth sail from Kingston now, and you will be in Norwich, or you will be somewhere else where we're looking at important.
Mm-hmm.
The river, Tony, the river.
River.
Yes, the Portland is rising. You have any more questions?
Hardly come up for sale though, so we'd have to.
What was that, Tony?
Portland lands hardly come up for sale. You have to search like every day.
Every second.
Yeah, for something.
Yeah. But once we know, so I'm forming the group today. So those of you interested, fill out the form so that you can be a part of this. So you fill out the form now. Then when you fill out the form, you'll be a part of the group in the discussions to fine tune what we're looking for. And you will get, then in that group, you will get that other form that you fill out to give us your pledge.
Cheryl says, do you think Portland is the next tourist destination versus Draxall? I think it's going to cater to two different types of tourists.
Two different type of tourists. Draxall is not a tourist destination.
It's going to be like
tourist destination. It's Maria's. Draxall does have to be close enough.
Yeah, I think that Draxall stretch there is going to be almost like Vegas, where it has the casinos and stuff going on.
Yeah,
on that stretch. So
on the stretch.
Right, it's going to be for that tourist who wants to come and party.
Yeah, and they have all the big plots of lands there, like at Prairie and so on, where they can have the stage shows and then the festivals that they want to have. So, yes, that area is piggybacking from Ocho Rios, which really Ocho Rios is a tourist town. That's Ocho Rios. So the expansion of the accommodations into Miami Bay, Draxall, that's what's happening. Are you somebody? You're sending me something, Tony?
No, I think somebody's sending us something because mine is beeping on this end as well.
Okay.
Or it could be that you just turned on your phone.
Huh?
Did you just turn on your phone?
Again?
Did you just turn on your phone?
No. No, it was on.
No. Okay. Yeah, so different type of tour. I think the tourist who wants to come and relax and enjoy nature a little bit more would be on the Portland side. While if you come in for the casinos and the parties and stuff, you would go to the St. Anne side. What happened to Mom? Hold on. Mom?
I'm here, but you lost connection a while ago.
Yeah, we did.
So we're back.
Yes, we're back. You can see the messages, or there's no new messages. Or we have, 20 minutes left? Any more questions?
Yeah, so the government is pushing for Portland, to develop Portland, as a tourist destination. It will suit you to get in early into Portland if you can, because just imagine the persons who got in early in Ocho Rios and Draxall, Montego Bay, those places. I mean, they're smiling all the way. That would have been talking about 20, 30 years ago, right? You will smile, you get into Portland now. Your children will also thank you for it, and your grandchildren.
And the thing is, Portland's Maine is relatively undeveloped. You just see some little buildings and stuff going on there. So there is room to take those older properties now and commercialize them.
Right. And we are going in with our development. I'm sure other developers are on the horizon coming as well. Positive. Just like when Richmond went to Prairie, and then now 10 years later, you see all of these developments coming along. It took them a while, but I'm sure it's not going to take them that long to jump into Portland. Now that the government, they have said, listen, so it is the horse running here now. So this is why we have to, we are kind of behind. So Homestead was in front of that pack, leading the way in for the government and their Bound Brook, but they were ahead of us actually in terms of conception and getting approvals and so on. They were ahead of us. We're behind them, right? So we hope to break ground next behind them. And I'm sure that you'll have other developers lining up now to get into Portland, because the government, they're putting the roads, they're putting infrastructure, they're putting the pipeline. The water pipeline is in, which is one of the things that would stop development from happening. So all that infrastructure underground for cable, water, electricity, everything, all of that is there now. So, and the roads will soon be finished. Soon as the road is finished, all prices shoot to the sky. Taras has a question. Cost to dig a foundation. Usually they give you the cost by the running foot. So ask him the running foot price. What's the foot run price? And then you multiply your foot run foundation. So if your foundation is 200 and the man say 100, multiply 200 by 100. If him say 150, whatever him say, $800, I don't know. Then some of them will just look at it and but ask him. Will supersedes whoever is listed on title when it's a tenants in common if anyone dies that's listed on the title. Tenants in common, when one person dies on title, the other person doesn't get it automatically. Everybody on title who is tenants in common will need to leave a will. Each person will need to leave a will, which is why tenants in common is tricky. So if 5 persons' names are on title, one person dies, that person would have had to leave a will to get theirs part. The other 4 persons cannot get it like that. If there's no title, the beneficiaries would go administration without will. So let us say the person who died had 3 children. Those 3 children would be entitled to that person's portion who is on title. So if it's 5 tenants in common, that person is entitled to 1/5 of the property on title, not physically on the ground, but 1/5 on title. Some tenants in common title will say tenants in common 20%, tenants in common 10%, back to the 100, tenants in common 70%. So I mean one person have 70%, one person have 10, and one have 20%, and it will go according to that. Joint tenants, when one person dies, the other person get it automatically. So you don't need to leave any will under joint tenants. It's the last person standing who really needs to leave a will to distribute to whichever beneficiaries. Right? I'm interested in the crops and animals element of Homestead. I can't live as I've my project in St. Anne already. Am I allowed to join on that basis? Well, I heard Tony talk about accommodations and living. It doesn't necessarily mean
You need to live there.
I mean 2 things. It doesn't necessarily mean that you own this plot of land on the homestead and you can live there. It also doesn't necessarily mean that, well, I said it, this particular place is for you. It could mean that there is a communal space that, let us say I'm coming down for a week, I can have that space to live for the week or the 2 weeks or whatever. It just depends. When we get together, we'll decide what it means.
Yeah, but it would be that what's that American concept? Timeshare? What do they call it over there?
I don't know.
Timeshare.
But that's what it means. But yeah, the homestead seemed to be interested in crops, animals, yeah. So you would be interested in the crops, yeah, because remember the homestead really is about sustainable living. And we want some commercial aspect to it as well. So it could mean that as shareholders, you really just own a share in the company. The company operates as a commercial entity where there are accommodations that people can rent, board, and there are also crops and trees and animals, and there can be so many things to homestead. There can be camping where you rent it out to campers to come and can have retreats. So you have the river, you can have retreats, you can have all of that. So it just depends on when the group gets together, how it is structured. The building that we talk about for owners or for shareholders can be a more efficient building. It doesn't have to be that you have a quarter acre piece of land in the homestead. It could be that it is a strata building and each person have a studio in the homestead, right? So it can be a more efficient setup. It can also mean that we give people a concrete pad. So let's say I give you a concrete pad that is 20 by 40 and you put your temporary housing down. So you have your sewage line to it, your water line to it, all that, and you can put on maybe a flat pack container and when you're not there, the community as a whole, it's rented out, collect the funds. It can be so many things, guys. It can be a tree house, I would say. We're building a whole heap of tree house. Each person own one, and when you come in camping in your tree house.
Yeah, make it very organized. It could be concrete tiny houses that are Airbnb, like you said, Mom, when we're not there.
Right. So the main push of this is not the accommodation for the shareholders. The push is the sustainability of living. So long term, we have our own source of food if it comes to it, right? Somebody says, "Oh, the prime minister can keep crime out of Portland." Well, with modernization, what comes, right? Yeah. So crime. So Portland is one of those places that you can say is no crime. Because even when I was hunting and went to the location, Norwich, I asked around, I said, what is the crime in this area? What is going on in this area? I said, don't like that, Miss D. You mad, Miss D? Not like that. Not like that. You come and build your house, somebody not trouble you, whatever. Yeah, man, cool. Not like that, Miss D. So yeah, Portland is crime free for now. Any other questions?
Not see.
Shifting land from parent to child. That's simple. You just sign a simple transfer and choose gift. To want to show the form on the NLA. That's very simple. There's a form that your lawyer gonna fill out, or you can also do it as well if you want to. Or you give it to a lawyer. So it's a National Land Agency. So while Tony is bringing that up, let me just check this, see what's going on. So Tony, I'm not hearing you talking. Talk this through.
Oh, went to nla.gov.jm, and then I went to documents.
You might want to go back. You might want to go back to the start. So it's what's it called? What's it called again? nla.gov.jm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the website. And then you choose same website you got to buy the title.
Then I went to applications. Then I went to forms. And I'm here at online forms. Or maybe I should go to Word forms. You're gonna have to fill it out manually. Word forms. See if I can find it. And then it's the transfer document we need, right?
Sharika says I'm to get honey, garlic, lime, ginger, honey, garlic, lime, ginger. I really think I have all of that. As I get up off here, I go deal with it.
So like a scratch record. That's what you said yesterday.
Last week. Now I have to get to it before I pick up Rambo. I do that. The cold, the thing kind of ease the sneezing also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's open Microsoft Word. Oh, let me see if I can share this.
Somebody asked me what's going on now at Palmetto. Tony soon tell you. They're peaceful, assuming they're talking about Portland.
How have I not seen Microsoft Word as one of the options to share? One moment. Okay, here we go.
So that's a form. Walk through. Go ahead and walk it through.
All right, so this is a transfer of land form. Use it in the transfer of land for sale and other ways. So at the top, the first thing you do is the volume you put in is the volume and folio for the property, which is found at the top left-hand corner of the title, right? You'd put in the place, parish, the actual lot number, and the volume and folio again here, right? Then it says here, give the full name and address and occupation of the transfer. So that is the person who currently holds title, right? So you put that information here, name, address, occupation. And then it says details of the transferee. That's the person who's getting the land, put their information there. And then this section is important here. If more than one transferee, state the tenancy. And this is where mom was talking about the joint tenants, tenants in common equal share, or tenants in common in unequal shares. All right. It says state any encumbrances, caveats, mortgage, or leases, and you'll find these on the title if any exist. But this is where mom's talking about a consideration amount should be stated in words. So the sum of, normally when you're selling the property, you'd put the figure here that you're purchasing it for, right? But mom was mentioning by way of gift. So this is where if a parent is transferring the property to a child, so you're not selling it to them, you'd use this option.
Right. You tick that by way of gift.
By
That's
way
what a lawyer will do. So that's the form that a lawyer is going to fill out. Get it, you sign it, get it witnessed, and so on. And as I said, if you have your title in hand, you can do this process. But it needs, you have to go to the stamp office first and get it stamped. By way of gift, you shouldn't pay a transfer tax. By way of gift.
Yeah, man, you pay something, mommy.
Think of the stamp duty. Don't think you pay the transfer tax.
So you wouldn't pay a smaller fee?
No. It's a gift, so you shouldn't pay any money.
No, man, you pay some money.
Yeah, you pay some money, but when you go to the stamp office, they'll tell you, you call them and ask them.
I think it's on the website too. There's like a price list somewhere on this website. Let me see
All
if
right,
I
look
can.
at this.
Price.
You can also consider, instead of outright transferring the property to the person, to the child, you can consider adding their names to the title. Adding the name to the title. That way, if anything should happen, then you you will still have the property. So if you transfer to Mary and something happened to Mary, you no longer have the property. Mary and her heirs have the property. But if you transfer the property, if you add their names to the title, if something happens to Mary, then as add it as joint tenant. If something happens to Mary, then you still have the property. All right.
Transfer by way of gift. With plan or no plan. What's that? Transfer by way of gift. Transfer of a portion of the land, not for value. $10,000.
How much you pay?
$10,000. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Jamaican. Okay, you're looking at the calculator. Transfer of part by sales. What does it say if you do that?
Value. Yeah, value. 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
107,000.
You said 20 million, right?
Yeah.
And you said as what? With, you want it with a plan? So with no plan.
With no plan. With no plan.
Plan means it is a diagram at the back. 20 million. Use 20 million. What is it calculating? That is a registration fee. It must be calculating. Hold on. Times. We calculate registration fee again.
Is the registration fees calculated, Mom? This is National Land Agency.
Right. It's only calculating registration fee. But there's a fee down at the stamp office. So it is times 0.25 divided by 100. Let me see if it's correct. Times
Stamp office on the website?
Huh?
They have a
What's
website.
that?
Stamp office have a website?
They should.
They don't have a website separate.
Oh. Call the stamp office and get that price. What is it you pay?
I don't think it's that much though, don't it?
No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. This would be the bigger fee.
Not so sure about, I'm not so sure. What I'm not so sure of is what is the transfer that you pay, if any. So usually you pay a transfer tax of 2%. If you're adding the person's name to the title, you're only technically giving them half of the property. You and them. So if it's you alone on title, 100% you own it. You add somebody's name to the title, you now own 50%, them own 50%. So you would only pay a transfer tax on 50%. So technically you should pay a 1% transfer tax. What I'm not sure of is if it is any different if it is a deed of gift. So that's what needs to be investigated. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tony, time is upon us. You answer the question about the Palmetto Pines, please.
Yes. What's the question though about Palmetto?
What's the update?
Update. Oh, we're currently putting in roads. No, we're currently putting in. No, so we put in drain lines, sewage lines. Sorry, and right now we're closing sewage lines.
Okay. So you're closing sewage lines, and then I guess next you move to drain lines.
Right. So
All
we're we call that compacting.
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, compacting the lines with the white thing marl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the laterals would have been put in already. That's the laterals that you're going to use to connect your sewage.
Right. Those are in, and now we're compacting that sewage line there.
Mm-hmm. We can't tell you about the timeline. We're still hoping to meet the December timeline. So those of you who have signed up for Palmetto Pines, save your money. You know, you only paid 5% and you're using the bank will only give 90% financing for land, right? So you
Depending
still need to put another 5%, depending on the bank. So CIBC, NCB, and
on BMBS.
VMBS, they give 90%. Victor Mutual is 80%. No, who is 80%? Scotia.
Scotia. JN.
And JN is 75%.
Right.
You know, you only paid a 5%, so get the rest of the funds together so that when we're ready to close, those of you going through NHT, both of you, you're okay with your 5% because NHT gives 95% financing. I don't know why they're not happy for the NHT. You know, that's such a good company. Get your loans from the National Housing Trust. Those of you who haven't yet used your benefit, those of you who have not registered with the National Housing Trust, you need to do so that you can get your benefits. All right?
Mom, they're happy for NHT now. It's just that those who need it don't have the discipline to maintain NHT.
Yeah, those who really need it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good observation. That's true. All right, you have any more questions?
Good morning. No, hold on. What's your preference? Hurricane impact, windows, UPVC, or aluminum?
Aluminum is built usually by some man who have a shop.
Really?
Where I am right now is aluminum. I'm looking at the windows actually.
They've held up very well.
They have. But this was when they were building them good.
UPVC is more popular now, I think.
Yeah, it's more popular. It's cheaper too. It's cheaper. I needed a 3x3 window and I could walk into Active Traders and I got it for 10,000 something plus tax. Called Alcor, they said 20 something thousand plus tax. Huge difference. Which is why the cost per square foot varies like that. Right? Because imagine you can pay, if your windows cost $1 million, for all the windows in your house, you can pay $2 million to put windows in your house as well. So, you know, it makes a difference.
Yeah, but the windows create the beauty of the house, though, so.
I am
Really depends on
what I don't like. When I go to Alcor, I always want the windows without the strips. I don't like the strips. The strips are hard to keep clean. I just want the plain glass where it's easier for the cleaner to just clean the glass and be done with it. I don't like the strips at all. PVC windows are coming out of China. So like the ones I bought at Active Home Center, those are coming out of China. They're PVC windows. Usually the ones that are made here, they're usually made from the aluminum. terms of strength, I don't know. We got through so much hurricane, and windows are still intact.
Yeah, but your windows are strategic, Mom, in the way you've done your house. I mean, where you are now, how would a hurricane hit those windows?
Uh, uh, yeah, that's true. The wind is not fully exposed,
Mm.
so I can't say which one I prefer. I'm looking at the window. I'm like, I've never really thought seriously. I I usually go with the cheap
I
price. Like,
I prefer the aluminum ones.
why?
Those PVC ones, I don't know, when you're opening and closing them, they're bending in the
Yes,
spot.
that's true. You
I
might have
don't
that challenge. The bigger the window too, the more you really shouldn't probably go with the PVC. The bigger.
I don't have that problem with the aluminum ones.
Yeah, the aluminum. And the aluminum tends to slide on a little wheel at the
Yeah.
bottom. So they're easier. They're easier. And they're more, as Tony said, they don't flex. They don't flex. So the PVC you can push it and flex it. But with the aluminum, the material is thicker, sturdier. What I don't like are sometimes is the latch that they put on the PVC. That latch mechanism not good, man.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
But I mean, it just depends on where you probably get the PVC window from.
Yeah, or where they get the components to
Yeah.
make the PVC windows. Yeah, and the PVC window usually is glass.
Mhm.
The other one maybe some kind of glass cousin. Have some components are glass, but not fully glass. But the PVC ones that are made, the aluminum ones that are made by the men out here or the companies out here, it's usually glass.
Mhm.
That's it.
Caroline wanted to know if would it be the same process if I wanted to add someone to the title.
Yes, it's the same process.
Okay.
So you can add them as gift. Same process. But you pay half the fee because you're only giving up half of the property on title.
Mhm.
All right, Tony, your time is up.
Yes, ma'am.
No more questions. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes. Have a good week, everyone.